Tennyson. We head to the 133-pound weight class where Ryan Meek hits the mat for Ohio. And I believe Gavin Mundy. Yep, Gavin Mundy for the Huskies.
Ryan Meek, another Swiss Army knife for the Bobcats. We've seen him at 125. We've seen him at 133 like he is tonight. Great job. Immediately gets the back of Gavin Mundy. Gets a quick takedown point. He's content to ride out this period, similarly to what we just saw with Tennyson. He's got a hook in, locked his legs, trying to dig out these underhooks here. Great job on wrist control. Working on this arm here on the right side. Again, these arm bars we've seen from Tennyson and Meek so far tonight have been killer for these guys.
So Meek got the 3 for the takedown. 7-8 this season. 1-2 in duels is Ryan Meek.
And his last 2 appearances have been at this 133 weight division. So like I said, he, seems like the Bobcats have figured out their go-to guys in these spots. Not as many weight changes as we saw earlier in the season and as we saw last year, with a couple guys leaving, people changing around in weight, but seems like they've settled in. Ryan Meek content to get this riding time now over a minute for him. Working on breaking these grips here, trying to turn them around. A lot of times if you can be heavy on top, Gabe, that's enough to, close out a period, pin or not.
Yep. Mundy this season, 3-4 in duels, 5-6 overall.
Meek will get another point there, bring him up 4-0. Crossface with the left arm, doing a great job of wrist control there on the far right side. Convocation crowd here at home, getting into it as always. They love their Bobcats. They love Bobcat wrestling here in Southeast Ohio.
And the riding time approaching 2 minutes now.
Grade A wrestling for Ryan Meek here, just making it physical, riding out this time. Another riding time point for Meek here, 5-0. Here to close out this first period. Pretty much been almost all riding time for Ryan Meek. Got that hook in on the right leg. Still trying to break these wrist control. That's what he struggled with to get him over. Working on the left side now. He was working on the right side. Got a gable grip of sorts there on the left side. Now Diggle in the other hooks to close out this first period.
So 5-0 Meek after the first period. Trying to bounce back after he lost by fall in 55 seconds at Gardner-Webb. Did win by major decision 9-1 at Davidson the day before. So those were the last 2 times on the mat for Meek.
Yeah, even as a junior, didn't wrestle last season. 2023, 2024, he started at that 125-pound division. Now we see him up at 133. A lot of guys that make that jump, it's the shortest jump in weight, between all the divisions. Half and half here for both of these wrestlers. Neither one with underhooks. Mundy trying to be heavy on bottom. Shot for a leg there, nothing to it. Meek content to work almost in a collar tie position here. Tried to cut the corner, nothing for him.
Mundy this season, 1 fall, 1 tech fall, 1 major decision.
Nice job to get the back here for Ryan Meek. Maintain control. That'll bring it to 8-0 for Ryan Meek. And about midway through the second period, he's right back where he was in the first game.
There you see the riding time pop up, approach 3 minutes.
That is huge. That's almost been the whole duel on top, riding out his opponent. Still in this same position, though, where he's working on wrist control. He's working on upper body locks, trying to get him to cut the corner. Now with the hook in on the left side here. Now
10-0 Meek. Again, this duel starter with a pin by Braden Tennyson. 6-0 Ohio in the duel. As we approach the end of the second period between these two.
Just a tremendous first couple periods here for Ryan Meek. Looks like he wants up. Ryan Meek, again, another guy for the Bobcats, where he's not going to cut somebody. He's going to want to ride him out, get the riding time, look for the pin. He doesn't care about the takedown points. He's not going to cut somebody. He's content to get you out of here. Tried to go a little early there for the referee.
Just a little false start.
That's the aggression Greenlee instills in these guys, though. Tremendous work ethic. Mental clarity has been a big thing I've heard from a lot of these wrestlers that Greenlee brings to the table. Great mat return there from Ryan Meek. Almost loses him there for a second, but got right back to him, right back on this right arm. And again, right back where we've been. Grinding him out, being heavy on top, waiting for openings. But if Mundy's not going to try, necessarily to get up and just fight these grips, then it makes it difficult for Meek because he doesn't have any, opportunities to turn him over. He doesn't have any opportunities to get more than wrist control. So that's kind of what we're seeing and why we're approaching 4.5 minutes of riding time.
Meek right now on his way to a major decision.
The major decision is going to be big for the Bobcats in these lower weights because, if the upper weights go of the way of the nationally ranked, more experienced men with Ohio, then it's going to be really difficult for Bloomsburg to crawl back as a team on team points. So if Mundy's not going to do anything to close out this third and final period, then it'll be a great start for the Bobcats. We'll get back to referee's position here. Telling Meek to hold off again. Doesn't want another quick start. 46 seconds to go here in the third period.
Meek's riding time now over 5 minutes.
That's crazy. John Stutzman for Bloomsburg, as you can probably hear, is yelling at his wrestler, 30 seconds, you got to move. Even if winning is out of the equation here, get up, get the escape point, shoot on it to takedown, see if you can get the takedown point, take this from a major decision to just a regular decision, because it's going to make it really difficult to claw back in those higher weights if you're Bloomsburg.
Less than 10 seconds to go in this bout. Meek takes a peek at the time and says, I'll take it. It's a major decision. It's 4 points for the Bobcats, and it's 10-0. Ohio over Bloomsburg after 2 bouts inside the Convocation Center. We'll step aside. Back for the 141-pound bout next on ESPN.